Hello. So this video is kind of out of nowhere, which also delays the one I'm working on right now, which is even more um great. But anyway, when I was younger, I watched this little BBC series, which was an adaptation of the beloved character Sherlock Holmes. Now, I'm no Sherlock super fan. I love the series, but my own exposure to the character was that series. Um, I'm not one to complain if something is a bad adaptation. I think people who think a film or series cannot be good if it's inaccurate to the source material or literal nerds. Now, as much as I love the series, I have a few stuff to get off my chest about it. Recently, I was in the Netherlands for a few weeks. I was looking through Dutch Netflix, and one night I saw that Sherlock was added, and I completely forgot about that series. So I did a little nostalgia trip and rewatch the entire thing. I realised even though it's been on BBC iPlayer this whole time, like I said, I just forgot all about it. Um, Now, before I go further, I want to say I adore Stephen Moffat. I think he's written some of the best pieces of television of all time. But when you trust this excellent writer with the task of running an entire series, you realise his weak side of filmmaking. When I was younger, these three episodes really stood out to me for being my favourites. There was The Study in Pink, The Empty Hearse, and The Scandal in Bohemia. And the Sounds of Free, which are actually which is actually incredible. And spoiler alert, is my new favorite episode of Sherlock. I'm really embarrassed to say that I really enjoyed Scandal so much. Um, yeah, I recently watched the '80s adaptation, the one on ITV. Like I said, throughout the '80s. Um, the Scandal is an incredible story about the monarchy being blackmailed and Sherlock joining in to help the actual villain of the story clear his name. Um, Showing that Sherlock, although very smart diva, isn't necessarily a good person. The BBC series made it very clear. It felt like Moffat wanted that to be his only personality trait when it comes to the scenes where they're just at home with no case to do. Um, but yeah, the '80s, and I've not read the book. I've not read any Sherlock book, and still, my own exposure is the BBC series and that one single episode of the ITV series. But I've noticed so many oh my god, the doorbell. So it's later in the day now. So Sherlock loses and needs to learn a lesson from his mistake. The episode is also proven that a woman, the main villain in quotes, can be as smart as Sherlock himself, which is quite feminist in a way for a story from 1891. Skip forward to 2012, and it feels like we've gone back in time. Instead of a character who managed to outsmart Sherlock, she instead fails, and is oddly sexualized, and goes by the nickname Dominatrix. Now, do I need to explain why that's written so badly? So it's so poor, it's completely lost the point of the original book, and ITV episode from 1984, I think. Uh, this is also the only episode of the. Yeah, this is also the only ITV Sherlock episode I have seen so far, and it's already changing my opinion on the entire series. Out of all 12 episodes, I would put Scandal right next to the completely pathetic series 4 finale. Also, the boomerang scene, what the hell? Before I go back to being a negative Nancy, I just want to say, weirdly, I do actually love this series. Like I mentioned, I think Study in Pink and Science of Free are absolutely perfect episodes. Are they over the top when it comes to editing? Obviously. Did they need to do all of this with the camera? I think I think it was like a parody or just a complete rip from The Matrix, I think, or Men in Black, one of those films. But it's really fucking cool. Does it have flaws? Clearly, the way Sherlock just solves things without the audience needing to figure out anything as you go along the episodes. It's just kind of weak writing. You're just there to turn off your brain while Benedict Cumberbatch says things in a quick manner and solves things off screen because he's some sort of magician. This is very prominent in the episodes leading up to the anticlimactic introduction to Moriarty. I have no idea why he's even there or what his purpose is or what he wants to do. And you can tell by series 3, the best series in my opinion, that the series just gets better after he just fucking dies. What I find so great about The Last Vow is that it just throws all of them flaws away, and it actually leaves the audience wondering about how he pulled off his fake suicide, and you never really find out in the end, which I actually quite like about that episode. It just makes the audience theorize more. I love the different theories you see throughout the episode. It's which way just be, it could just be a way that Moffat just not bothering to write a cool ending, but uh, it just it's just I just find it really interesting and really cool. Um, I feel like a lot of Sherlock was rushed. Moffat was juggling this with series 5, 6, and 7 of the 11th Doctor's run of Doctor Who. And although I am a huge defender of series 5 and 8 of Doctor Who, I think they are incredible and just perfect in places. In between has quite a lot of crap. I think I'm just blinded by nostalgia a tiny bit with certain episodes. Um, I didn't actually realize how close to the dates were while writing this script. I'm realizing how rushed the writing process actually was. Moffat is a fantastic writer for a completed story, but uh, when it comes to show running, it kind of just feels like he's teasing something bigger in the background, but it just never comes. A lot of episodes feeling really incomplete and sort of pretentious, but I think it's a well-known fact by now that IMDb loves pretentious. They love praising shows that seem deep, but when you really think about it for longer than 20 seconds, you realize they're actually crap on the surface. Um, but yeah, with Sherlock, it feels like a lot of things are being said, but never really seen. Um, it's kind of sad, to be honest. That's really, yeah, that's really all I have to say about my rewatch. It's kind of a pickle because it's got a lot of flaws on it. It's got a lot of good, positive things I love about the series. It's kind of like an even split between flaws and good, which makes it kind of weird to talk about because I do say I do like the BBC Sherlock show, but it's kind of in the same way I like House MD. It's kind of a shit show. It's written poorly, and but it thinks it's like really deep. But it's just got this charming quality to it, especially with the humor. That just keeps me wanting to watch it. And yeah, exact same thing could be said with Sherlock. What I've learned from writing this, is IMDb sucks.